Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Phyllis Summers will prepare for an expert strategy during the next 3 weeks, August 26th to September 12th, while Lily Winters battles her true Cain Ashby feelings. This makes up Phyllis' expert strategy, Lily's true Cain feelings, wedding prep. Let's discuss what's planned for Y&R since there will also be some wedding preparation. Lily will question Holden Novak throughout the week of August 25th to 29th, but she won't learn anything more about Cain's plans in Genoa City. Although Lily will keep pushing Cain away, she will be privately struggling with her true affections and all of their shared memories. In the meantime, Cain will be forced to join forces with Victor Newman against Jabbo by means of blackmail. However, Victor might not want to get overconfident in his position of advantage. Cain may eventually surprise Victor by enlisting Amanda Sinclair to assist him in making some audacious decisions. Until then, Victoria Newman will be concerned about the possibility of destruction and Claire Newman's connection with Kyle Abbott. Claire will press Kyle for the full story since she can't get over her worries about what actually transpired between him and Audra Charles in France. As Kyle recently sold Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott, it's probable that he may alter his version of events from nothing happened to it was just one kiss. In actuality, Kyle repeatedly kissed Audra while he was wrapped in a towel, so Claire's impression of what transpired is undoubtedly inaccurate. The romance between Kyle and Claire can be ruined if everything blows up in the end. There will be more trouble for this pair in the future, but Kyle will strive to maintain his relationship by doing something bold. Nate Hastings might change his mind and try to get Audra back together. Even though Nate was spot on about Audra's deceit, she denied everything and left him because he assumed the worst. Now that he's beginning to doubt if he handled things properly, Nate might approach Audra for forgiveness. He will bring Jack some crucial news from his encounter with Jason Thompson's character, Billy Abbott. As scheduled, Billy will conduct a few spy missions and report back on his findings regarding Cain's plans. They will need to be cautious of one another, though, as Cain is no more trustworthy than Billy. Jack will score Billy's intelligence and then do some brainstorming during the week of September 1st to 5th. Jack will take all necessary precautions to preserve his family's history since he cannot afford to let Jabbo be attacked. There may be further reason for Sharon Newman to worry about Mariah Copeland and the potential for her marriage to fail. Will Sharon notice the developing relationship between Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Tessa Porter? Even Mariah saw that Daniel and Tessa appeared cozier than she had expected. Keep an eye out to see if Daniel and Tessa will act on their growing feelings because it won't be shocking if they share a kiss eventually. Given that Christine Blair was promised 3 different bridal gowns by Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, there may be some wedding preparations during the week of September 8th to 12th. Before getting married to Danny Romalotti in October, Christine might decide which one she prefers. Christine might eventually remind Daniel of the significance of preventing Phyllis from attending the ceremony, as he has also been assigned that responsibility. If Phyllis and Amanda disagree on how to best assist Cain in the interim, their friendship may become more strained. As Cain requested, Phyllis will also become an AI specialist, which could lead to new orders and a chance for her to make a great impression with her newly acquired skills. Phyllis Summers will prepare for an expert strategy during the next 3 weeks, August 26th to September 12th, while Lily Winters battles her true Cain Ashby feelings, and the weight of this dual narrative makes up what could be called Phyllis' expert strategy, Lily's true Cain feelings, wedding prep, a storyline that promises to combine ambition, heartbreak, deception, and a series of subtle moves on the chessboard of Genoa City power struggles. So let's dive into what's set to unfold because this moment marks not just a continuation but an escalation of the ongoing conflicts and tangled romances. Phyllis, who has long been defined by her cleverness and her willingness to go where others fear to tread, is now leaning into the role of strategist-in-chief, perhaps more focused than ever on controlling her destiny and the dynamics around her, particularly with Cain Ashby's blackmail alliance with Victor Newman about to create tremors in both Newman and Abbott worlds. While Phyllis sharpens her edge with what she proudly dubs her expert strategy, Lily Winters is fighting an entirely different battle. The invisible but undeniable pull of her buried love for Cain, a love she keeps insisting she has moved on from but which rises in full force when she's alone at night or when she crosses paths with Cain in fleeting moments charged with tension, longing, and unsaid truths. Lily will spend the week of August 25th to 29th questioning Holden Novak, hoping for answers, grasping for anything that might explain Kane's hidden agenda, but she will come away empty-handed, frustrated by Holden's ability to deflect and her own inability to shake the gnawing suspicion that Kane is working on something far bigger than she imagines. Though she keeps pushing him away, rehearsing the story she tells herself about independence and moving forward, she privately struggles with her true affections and memories of their shared life, moments with the twins, the laughter they once had, the depth of comfort she once felt in Kane's presence, and the passion that no one since has truly been able to replicate. Kane, for his part, has been drawn into Victor Newman's orbit, forced to join forces against Jabbo by means of blackmail, though anyone who knows Kane understands that he doesn't enter into an arrangement like this without planning his own countermove. So while Victor may feel he has the upper hand, he should be wary of Kane's history of survival, adaptability, and deception, a man who once lived 6 years as Aristotle Dumas without anyone piercing his cover. Victor, of course, will revel in his perceived advantage, perhaps even flaunt it in private exchanges with Jack Abbott. But Kane could very well surprise him by bringing Amanda Sinclair into the fold, enlisting her not just as a legal shield but as a co-strategist who knows how to make audacious decisions in high-pressure circumstances, giving Kane the leverage he needs to pull off a maneuver that could change everything. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman will watch with growing concern, not just about her father's manipulations but about the possibility of widespread destruction if Kane plays his cards too boldly, and at the same time, she'll be rattled by the delicate, perhaps dangerous, situation involving her daughter Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott, who are themselves tangled in the fallout of Kyle's time with Audra Charles in France. Claire, unable to quiet her doubts, will press Kyle for the full story, refusing to be soothed by his assurances that nothing happened, especially since Claire has heard whispers that paint a different picture. Kyle, cornered and weighed down by guilt, may shift his version of events, minimizing the truth by admitting to just one kiss. Though the reality, repeated kisses, wrapped in only a towel, passion sparking between him and Audra, makes it clear that Claire's instincts are justified, and her impression of what happened is painfully inaccurate. If this truth fully comes to light, Kyle and Claire's blossoming romance could implode, creating collateral damage for Jack, Diane, and even Victor, depending on how alliances shift. Kyle, desperate to salvage his relationship with Claire, will likely attempt something bold, perhaps a grand gesture or a sacrifice that proves his loyalty, but the fragility of trust means his efforts may come too late. Meanwhile, Nate Hastings will wrestle with his own regrets, reconsidering his breakup with Audra Charles, though he had every right to call her out for deceit, and though she denied the accusations with fury before walking out, Nate is starting to question whether he misread her entirely or whether he should have handled the situation differently. This doubt could propel him toward reconciliation attempts, knocking on Audra's door with a mix of contrition and longing. And if Audra is receptive, that could reignite a volatile partnership just as other relationships in Genoa City begin to fracture. As this unfolds, Nate will carry critical intelligence to Jack Abbott after an encounter with Billy Abbott, who continues his own spy missions into Kane's movements. Billy, always one to leap into undercover games even when they risk destabilizing everything, will track Kane, report back, and fuel Jack's brainstorming sessions during the week of September 1st to 5th. Jack, confronted with both Billy's intel and Victor's looming schemes, will become fiercely protective of Jabbo, determined to preserve Abbott family history and legacy at all costs, sharpening his own strategies even as he wonders whether Billy's passion might compromise the clarity they need to fight Kane's machinations. In another corner of Genoa City, Sharon Newman will be unsettled by developments closer to home. The subtle but undeniable closeness growing between Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Tessa Porter. Even Mariah Copeland, who should be basking in the stability of her marriage, has noticed how comfortable, how oddly cozy, Daniel and Tessa have become. A shared laugh here, a lingering glance there, and Sharon, with her finely tuned sense of romantic undercurrents, may be the first to articulate aloud what others are whispering, that there could be something more between them. It won't be shocking if Daniel and Tessa share a kiss in a moment of weakness, setting the stage for another ripple of heartbreak and betrayal in Genoa City. Against this emotional chaos, there will also be lighter, celebratory undertones, wedding preparations, particularly Christine Blair's upcoming nuptials to Danny Romalotti. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, true to form, has promised Christine 3 bridal gowns, and during the week of September 8th to 12th, Christine may finally decide which one to wear, indulging in a moment of pure anticipation as she envisions walking down the aisle in October. Yet even here, shadows linger, because Christine will remind Daniel of his responsibility to keep Phyllis away from the ceremony, recognizing that Phyllis' unpredictable energy could derail the joy of the day. This reminder comes at a pivotal time since Phyllis herself is diving into her expert strategy, juggling her alliance with Kane, her fragile friendship with Amanda Sinclair, and her determination to master AI technology at Kane's request. Phyllis becoming an AI specialist may seem improbable, but her genius lies in adaptation, in teaching herself new skills at lightning speed, and soon this newfound expertise could win her major orders, recognition, and perhaps even admiration from corners of Genoa City that never expected her to rise in such a way. Yet the friendship between Phyllis and Amanda will be tested, as disagreements over the best way to assist Kane could spiral into confrontation, two strong-willed women clashing even as they remain bound by loyalty to a man who thrives on secrecy. And so, as September unfolds, Genoa City will find itself at a crossroads, Phyllis preparing to execute her most elaborate strategy yet, Lily breaking under the weight of her hidden love for Kane, Kyle and Claire facing potential implosion over France's secrets, Nate reconsidering Audra, Sharon worrying about Mariah, Daniel, and Tessa, Jack and Billy rallying to defend Jabbo, and Christine choosing her bridal gown while trying to keep Phyllis from sabotaging her wedding. Every thread intertwines, every character driven by love, ambition, or survival, and at the heart of it all lies the delicate balance between the strategies people craft and the feelings they cannot suppress, a balance that will shatter in ways no one can predict once Phyllis, Kane, and Lily's intertwined destinies collide during this turbulent stretch of weeks. As the next phase of Genoa City's turbulent late summer arc unfolds, the dual forces of Phyllis Summer's carefully honed strategy and Lily Winter's struggle with her true Kane Ashby feelings collide with wedding preparations, corporate wars, and fragile romances, weaving a dense tapestry of intrigue that will ripple through the canvas from August 26 through September 12. And this continuation reveals the underlying motives, psychological battles, and power plays shaping the storylines. Phyllis, in particular, thrives when underestimated, and while Christine Blair envisions her wedding to Danny Romalotti as a haven of joy, Phyllis views the mere thought of being excluded as both an insult and a challenge. So when she invests herself in mastering artificial intelligence at Kane's request, it isn't just about business but about reclaiming power and visibility. She knows the world thinks of her as impulsive, reckless, and unable to sustain long-term discipline, which is precisely why her so-called expert strategy is designed to shock, to redefine her as a visionary woman capable of thriving in a new technological frontier. And if she succeeds, she will not only help Kane but also re-establish herself as indispensable in Genoa City's ever-shifting ecosystem. Yet this quest for control stands in stark contrast to Lily's emotional chaos. While Phyllis bends the future to her will, Lily is trapped in the past, unable to escape the pull of memories with Kane even as she keeps rejecting him outwardly, telling herself that she must move forward but replaying every kiss, every promise, every heartbreak like an old film reel she cannot burn. When she questions Holden Novak during the week of August 25th to 29th and receives nothing of substance, her frustration will not only be directed at Holden's evasiveness but also at herself, because she knows deep down that her real battle isn't about information but about emotions, the ones she tries to deny but cannot extinguish. Kane, always a survivor, recognizes Lily's torment even if she tries to mask it, and while he plays the part of Victor Newman's reluctant ally, he is quietly calculating how to use Amanda Sinclair's sharp mind as a shield and sword, a way to keep himself ahead of Victor's manipulative grip. Victor, ever the chess master, sees Kane as a pawn, perhaps even a rook, useful but ultimately disposable, yet he may underestimate Kane's resilience, forgetting that a man who lived as Aristotle Dumas has already proven he can outwit even the most powerful adversaries when cornered. Amanda's entry into Kane's scheme may at first look like a legal maneuver, but in truth, she brings emotional depth as well, a woman who knows betrayal, who knows what it is to live in someone else's shadow, who understands how to wield both law and perception, and her growing closeness to Kane could create new sparks that complicate Lily's battle with her feelings even further. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman, keenly aware of her father's history of destructive overreach, grows increasingly unsettled, sensing that Victor's confidence in controlling Kane may be misplaced, and her anxiety is compounded by the simmering instability in her daughter Claire's romance with Kyle Abbott. Claire's insistence on knowing the truth about France is not just about jealousy but about survival. She has grown up in a world where lies destroyed her foundation, and so deception now is like poison to her, intolerable in any form. Kyle, torn between guilt and desire, feels the weight of his choices pressing against him as Claire presses harder for clarity, and when he downgrades his account from nothing happened to just one kiss, he underestimates her ability to sense dishonesty. Claire, more intuitive than Kyle realizes, will not let this rest, and the specter of multiple kisses, towel-clad passion, and lingering attraction to Audra Charles will hover like a storm cloud over their relationship, threatening to dissolve what might have been a stabilizing romance for both. In his desperation, Kyle may attempt something bold, perhaps staging a dramatic gesture, confessing more than he initially intended, or even cutting off all contact with Audra to prove his commitment, but boldness cannot erase history, and Claire's trust once fractured may never fully mend. Into this romantic chaos steps Nate Hastings, who is drawn back toward Audra against his better judgment, haunted by the possibility that he was too quick to end things, too rigid in his assumptions, and if he seeks her forgiveness, their reunion could ignite fireworks of both passion and destruction, especially given Audra's tendency to use relationships as stepping stones for power. Jack Abbott, for his part, becomes increasingly consumed with defending Jabot, taking Billy's intel seriously but also questioning his brother's motivations, wary that Billy's impulsive style could jeopardize the very legacy they are trying to preserve. The week of September 1st to 5th becomes a time of deep Abbott reflection, Jack brainstorming not only how to counter Victor and Kane's combined threat but also how to stabilize his family internally, a near impossible task when Kyle is faltering with Claire and Billy is indulging his penchant for risky spy games. Amid these high-stakes maneuvers, Sharon Newman's maternal intuition kicks in as she notices the developing closeness between Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Tessa Porter, a closeness that even Mariah herself begins to acknowledge with unease. Daniel and Tessa's shared artistic energy, their laughter over music, their mutual empathy, create an atmosphere ripe for temptation, and Sharon, remembering her own long history of complicated romances, cannot ignore the red flags. If Daniel and Tessa do share a kiss, the fallout will extend far beyond their triangle, threatening Mariah's marriage, straining Sharon's protective instincts, and even complicating Christine Blair's wedding as Daniel's role in keeping Phyllis away collides with his own unraveling personal life. Christine, though caught up in the excitement of choosing between the 3 gowns Lauren Fenmore Baldwin promised her, will not lose sight of the looming threat of Phyllis interference, and she may press Daniel repeatedly to ensure his mother does not find a way to crash what should be her most joyful day. The irony, of course, is that while Christine fears Phyllis' unpredictable sabotage, Phyllis herself is laser-focused on building her credibility through her AI expertise and her alliance with Kane, crafting a future in which she is not a disruptor at weddings but a power player at the table of Genoa City's elite. Yet Phyllis' ambition comes with a cost. Her friendship with Amanda Sinclair grows strained as the two clash over how best to support Kane, Amanda prioritizing legal precision and ethical lines while Phyllis, true to her nature, is ready to bend or break rules for the sake of results. Their disagreements could escalate into open conflict, creating fissures in an alliance Kane desperately needs stable if he is to pull off his audacious counter-move against Victor. Thus, from August 26 through September 12, Genoa City becomes a crucible of strategy and emotion. Phyllis orchestrating her rise as an expert strategist, Lily drowning in her hidden but unshakable love for Kane, Victor flexing his power but perhaps stepping into a trap, Amanda and Phyllis battling for influence over Kane, Victoria worrying about both corporate and family destruction, Claire and Kyle on the brink of collapse over French secrets, Nate wavering toward Audra, Sharon fearing for Mariah and Daniel's choices, Christine preparing her wedding while plotting to keep Phyllis away, and Jack and Billy scrambling to defend Jabot's heritage. Each character is propelled forward by their need for love, for redemption, for power, for control. But the collision course they are on ensures that no plan, no strategy, no denial of true feelings will go untested. And as Phyllis sharpens her expert edge and Lily faces her heart's truth, the storm of September promises to leave Genoa City forever changed, with victories that feel like defeats, and defeats that plant the seeds of future victories yet to come. And yet, as carefully as everyone positions themselves, Genoa City has a way of unraveling even the most meticulous strategies, which becomes clear when Lily Winters finds herself face-to-face with Kane Ashby late at night in Chancellor Park. She didn't mean to run into him. At least, that's what she'll tell herself. But the quiet atmosphere and the sight of him sitting alone on a bench stir feelings she's been fighting to bury. Their conversation begins stiffly, Lily accusing him of working against Jabbo, Kane defending himself with his usual blend of charm and secrecy. But soon the walls crumble when he gently asks her if she ever misses what they had. She denies it, of course, but her eyes betray her. And when Kane presses further, reminding her of the family they built and the dreams they once shared, Lily walks away quickly before her tears can fall. Later, she'll tell herself it was just emotion, not love, but the memory of that conversation will haunt her, especially when Holden Novak refuses to give her clarity about Kane's current agenda. At the same time, Phyllis Summers has her own moment of quiet determination, sitting at her laptop in the Grand Phoenix, her red hair catching the light as she scrolls through tutorials and code, muttering to herself that if Kane thinks she can't handle AI, then the whole town will be shocked when she masters it. This isn't just a project, it's revenge against everyone who's ever dismissed her. She imagines Christine Blair's wedding, imagines showing up not to cause chaos but to unveil her brilliance, proving she isn't the unpredictable saboteur Christine fears but a woman of undeniable influence. Meanwhile, Victor Newman and Kane share a tense meeting at Newman Enterprises, Victor pouring himself a scotch as he warns Kane not to cross him. But Kane, playing the role of loyal partner, hides his smile, knowing Amanda Sinclair is already drafting legal maneuvers that could flip Victor's advantage into a liability. Across town, Kyle Abbott tries to distract Claire Newman with a romantic dinner at Society, ordering her favorite wine and attempting to steer conversation away from France, but Claire refuses to let it go.